Hello, hello. Did you miss me? Okay, we are going to go down and see if I have any packages today before we get started with today's story tells of true stories of the experiences that I've experienced personally in my life. So, I might say there's some allegedlys. I might say joke around and say, oh, I'm just kidding, but not really. But I'm going to go off true stories about my life today. And if you've been watching my videos or my lives, then you understand that I come from a place that has been quite very interesting. And it gets even more interesting. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the keys. We're gonna go down and check to see if I have any packages. Be right back. I'll lock the top lock. I can't see what apartment I'm in. No. So the past few days I haven't been on live, and the reason why I haven't been on live is because I've been busy doing other things. Like yesterday I went to the dentist and I got a cleaning. They clean this side, and then on the 16th they're gonna do the cleaning on this side. But my face was numb, and it felt like it was the size of a freaking balloon. Open. Oh my gosh, what if this elevator's fucking broke? No way. Open. That was weird. That was weird. Okay, so I was just in the elevator, so I don't know if I cut out or not, but I got to the floor and I was like, oh no. Sometimes those elevators, and I would hate to be in the elevator when it stopped working. There's the gym I work out in. I don't know what it is though. One package. Open box number 30. And where is it? Where is it? What side do you think it's on? What side? What side? What side? I guess if I push the button. I'm gonna think this side. Haha. All right. So we have one package today. That's from the TikTok shop. Samples. Please remove parcel, open the door. And I only have one, so I don't have to do anything else. So we're gonna go just push a button. It takes a while to close, but I don't want it to like just sit there. Still says locker is open and it's closed. Okay, there we go. Go back. You have no packages, so I don't have no more packages at the moment, but I do have some on the way. So it's just not here yet. Want to see the ceiling? Weird old tree. Weird old tree. Okay, we're getting back in the elevator, so if I lose you, stick around because I'll be back. It just cuts out in the elevator sometimes. If I lose you, stick around because I'll be back. It just cuts out in the elevator sometimes. Okay. Different elevator. Something's gonna happen. It's not like the camera's gonna be like, jump down and say me or anything. Say me anyway. Talking to myself. So that's why I said say me. All right. Back in. Let's turn the birdies down. Cat TV. Today I put on more clothes instead of wearing just the workout shirt thingy. All right, let's get the bowl, the stand. You know, the stand that I use. So I wanted to let you know that tapestry right there of the goddess Freya, it's a tarot card tapestry. It's also in my showcase. And it's under 20 bucks. I got it as a gift from one of my sons. I'll have a link when I edit this live. I'll have a link connected to the video that I just made of that. Or you can just go in there now and check it out, or just whatever. It's in my showcase. And he wants to open the package, but let me put you here. You might come say hello while I open this up. This is my stand. I'm always using this one. It comes with interesting stuff. It's a little tricky though, opening the bottom. Especially when you have a kitten that always wants to help. So, this, set that up here. Oh my gosh. I'm like allergic to my cats. Sweetheart, please don't knock that over. Thanks. Thanks, bud. He's like rubbing up against it. Like he's getting acquainted. It's funny. See, they watch cat TV. Okay. One package. And then packages I opened over the weekend, I put in here. I need to get something to open the package with. Excuse me. Oh, pardon me. Holy moly. And then I have something in here that's sharp. And again, let's walk by. And then I think I'm just going to use a little pair of scissors. Scissors. Right hitter. Okay, I got them. Okay. Let's see what we got. Today my shirt says Namaste, which means my soul honors your soul. So it's namaste at the beach, right? So my soul honors your soul. And of course, my little kitten cat wants to help. He always does. So you can see him too. I gotta fix this fan so it will blow on me because it's just hot. We don't have air conditioning in here. We just have our fans. There, that's better. Okay, let's see what it is. Oh. I haven't figured out how to mirror my lives yet, so that's why everything is read backwards. I do got to figure that out. If anybody knows how to do that, please let me know. So this looks like it's a face cream, maybe. Another one, because I get a lot of skincare products. Let's see. We'll open it together. All right, so they have it taped right there. So I would think that it would open on this side, right? Okay, so we're gonna unravel the beauty of whatever product is in here. Voila! And it comes with a little card. Ooh. Ooh, take a wild guess of what this is. I wonder if it smells pretty. We're gonna find out. Well, it's got a plastic cap on it, but look what it is, ladies and gentlemen. And both ladies and gentlemen can use it. Yes. Because we all get the puffy eyes with a little bit of the crow feet, right? So, let's see. I think we twist it. Ooh, whoa. Something on there. Yeah, one of the jellies is stuck to it. Oh, it comes with a little spoon. Oh, so the lid doesn't come off, it just lifts up. That's what it is. So there's a little bit of jelly on the top, so I'm just gonna put it back in there, okay? So maybe it's not those, it's not, because I saw this, I thought it was one of those things that do this, right? I do have a lot of those actually, but not in this. But it's so you got that on that side, and I'm gonna do this gangster, right? So we won't wipe it first before we put it in. It's not like there's any cross-contaminating going on. But yeah. That's awesome. I'm excited. It smells like orange or tangerine. It smells really good. To me, that's what it smells like. So we're going to go ahead and shut the lid. That's a crafty little thing there. Like after I'm done using this product with the stuff in it, I don't think I'm going to throw that container away. I think I'm just going to keep it. Keep it around. All right, so that's what came today. So I will have this linked in my showcase, to my showcase, as soon as possible. But if it's not in my showcase yet, please don't purchase it until I get it on. And this will be the first product, one of the first products that I link, so that I get the credit for it, okay, since I showed it to you. I'm not trying to get TikTok famous, I'm trying to get TikTok paid. I have some interesting stories today. It's gonna blow your mind, one of them. Or maybe all of them. Or maybe I'll just tell one of them today and then another one tomorrow. But it has to do with a missing girl. It's been missing for a lot of years. And the person that was blamed for it happening And I want to fix the lighting here. And he's no longer around because he's no longer on the face of the planet. So another person that was accused of it too, he's no longer on the planet either. But anyways, it's from my hometown, and I am kind of a witness, but I wasn't a witness that was taken very seriously because of the connections that certain people have to the authorities in that town. You know what I'm saying. So we'll get to that. But first we're going to get this out of the way so that we're not talking about that while I'm showing you these items, because I don't know how they're going to feel with me talking about that while I'm showing the items, right? Oh, what? Wait a minute. Hold on. Hold up. I got these and I had no idea. So this is a surprise too. I got these during the weekend, and it's the same product name that I just showed you of this. I had no idea. Okay, cool. All right, there you go. And then there's another product right here, okay? So I hope you're getting the lighting on that. That's great. So let's open this up. Let me put my glasses on because I can't really see without my glasses on. So, Dabla, is that what it is? UV Essence. So this is going to be a sunscreen. And it's, of course, it's got the tape on it. Got the tape on it. And it looks like this on the inside. So it's about right there. Broad spectrum S50 defense against UV rays, fresh and luxurious texture, aging, care, and deep hydration. Let's smell it. I'm a Taurus, so I like to smell and feel everything. Okay, so that's what it looks like. Right? And it goes on. It's not like thick, you know, like some sunscreens, but it's got kind of a sunscreen smell with a little bit of an orange mango. Kind of a creamsicle smell. Sunscreen. This smells like creamsicle. Waterful. We're gonna put that back. We're gonna open the other one that came. Now it says First Spray Serum. I'm learning about beauty products because I'm just a simple gal. And it's got Braille on the side. For the blinds. Okay, so it has this beautiful little sticker. They stick the top to it. Look at that. Voila! So it looks like all the oils or the product might be up top. And so it's going to be, it says it's vegan. So it's going to be one of those things that you shake, right? And a First Spray Serum, hydrating for beautiful, radiant skin, right? Ooh, that's very soft. It smells like something you'd buy at the mall. It's a little perfumey. It smells good though. Very soft and floral. But yeah, it's very elegant, etiquette, like elegant and like elegant etiquette, like mannerly. Like it smells like the person who's wearing it's got really good manners. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, that's those. I'm trying to figure out how to close the box back up because I like to keep things tidy. I've been doing that a lot today. I don't know why. Looks like it's got the pretty little tree. Is that a tree? I don't know. It's pretty though. So those are the 3 products I got, but they came separately. So they were sent. So these were sent together, and then this one came today. So yeah, isn't that lovely? So if you are a TikTok Shop affiliate, affiliate, and you have 5,000 followers and you want to figure out how you can get stuff like this, hit me up in Messenger. And every time I go like this, it's like it's saying like face fades or something going on with my, so I'm like, hit me up and I can help teach you how to become a TikTok Shop affiliate so you can get some cool samples in order to sell. I can show you where to go, because they'll say, okay, you're one of them, but yet you're like, okay, now where do I go now, right? TikTok's a game, so let me tell you, sometimes you feel like you're really getting played. Okay, so the other item that I got, and it says, this is the only charging cable you'll ever need. I was really excited when I got this. I was like, ooh, it's here, it's here. So it's this. So it's got the Android, right? Because there's some people that have Android phones, or they have something that's Android, like a toy, that's Android there. And then it goes side to side like this, right? Side to side. And then you charge it. And then this side is a iPhone, right? So it's an iPhone. So you have 2 ends. You just got 2. You don't have to bring a lot of them with you. And it goes this way, side to side, like this as well, so that you can charge it like this. That if I was to charge this, it would go like this instead of going down like this, and then I have to lift my phone up so it could fit, right? Because that's what I've had problems with my phones, is trying to charge them at the same time of holding them on a stand or something, and when they need to be charged at all times, right? So then if I go like this and I put it in like that, then it fits. So it's lovely like that. But with this one, okay, so when you get this item, because you're going to want this item, it's a great stocking stuffer for the kids or for whoever. It's a great stocking stuffer. But when you do get this, if you don't already have one at home, you're going to want to get one of those adapters, or get the one that has the adapter that comes with it, because I didn't get the one with the adapter that came with it. So I'm like, okay, so how am I supposed to plug this into the wall to charge it? So you know what I did is I put this, thinking that it just already came like forever charged, right? Because I was like, okay, then how's it supposed to work? So I tried it that way, it didn't work. So my man was like, it looks like it would be for a battery pack. You could use it as a battery pack. That's one thing, a battery pack. Or just get the one that has the adapter that comes with it, and it looks like a flash drive, and you just stick it on top of this here, right? Or here, whichever one you want to stick it on, because it needs to charge. But I would say this one, or this one, just whatever. And then after you do that, then you stick it into the wall, and then it charges. Simple, like that. You just have to have the correct little flash drive. But when you go in to get this, they'll have the choice. Do you want the one with the charging port with it, and it's just small, you know, or this one, because you already have a charging port, which I don't already have a charging port. So but I do have one of these little things that will connect onto this to charge it in my vehicle, but I'm not around my vehicle at the moment, so I don't have it. We've been taking the Harley everywhere, so the vehicle's just been parked. So anyways, it's called Raycon. Great stocking stuffer. You can find it in my showcase, or wait until I put this video up, and then I'll have a link to this video. Okay. So then there's that. So with the winter season coming up and the chilly, chilly cold air, and some of you just live year round in the cold anyway, like San Francisco where I live, it's cold most of the time, but we're having a heat wave right now, and it's been quite warm. So these are leggings, and I am a huge fan of leggings. What female isn't, right? But these leggings have this stuff in it, right? And it's a thick material on the outside, but it's leggings with just this stuff. Warm, cozy stuff inside of it. You see that? Yeah. So you could even wear these as thermals, is what I'm thinking. Going camping or something, you just put these on underneath. Are you gonna go sledding or skiing or something like that? Put your leggings on underneath. And they have that there. Nice, cozy, and soft. And the name of that, well, that is the name, my lad. What is the name? Let's see if it has the name on here. Let's put the, okay, we'll put the magic eyeballs on and see if it's here. It's a shell fabric. Okay, so the shell fabric is 88% polyester, 12% elastine, whatever. The lining is fabric is 95% polyester and 5% elastine. Okay, so what is this inside? Anyways, these are a large. You can all tell what that is. Soft and cottony and cozy. Alright. So, I have that done. So, the story that I wanted to talk about today, and this is a true story. True events. This actually really did happen. Let me see if I can put it all together so it makes sense. And if not, then I'll have to figure out how to edit it so that it does. Okay, so I was an entertainer in my hometown, which was Salt Lake City, Utah. Okay? And with that being said, there was a lot of shady people and a lot of shady things that went on because back before there was iPhones and cell phones and cameras and recordings and all that stuff, people would do stuff a lot of stuff because they felt that they were unseen and that they would never be seen. So as long as nobody seen them do it, they weren't going to get caught. You know what I'm saying? So there's some girls that I've been talking about that are bullies of the town that I come from. And I'm now in my 50s. They're now in their like 50s or late 40s. But all this happened when I was in like my 20s, my teens, my 20s, up to my 30s and 40s. And then I moved out of Utah, Salt Lake City, a couple years ago. And I'm up here in San Francisco. So I feel a little bit of freedom from all that drama. I do never want to go back to Utah. And it's not just because of that situation. It's because I've been in every neighborhood, it seems. I've been in every town. I've lived in like every apartment complex. Like it just seems like I've just seen it all. And in every time I would like drive or walk or see anything, it was just a constant memory of there was good and there was bad. But there was just, I just needed something else in my life, right? So I turned 50. I decided that somehow, some way I was gonna take off, and hopefully my children will do the same. But I mean, it's not an ugly place to live, but it's an ugly place to live, if you can see what I say. Okay, so let's go with this. So anyways, I was a dancer at most all the clubs that were in Salt Lake City. So we'd bounce from one to another, except the nude bars. I didn't do any of the nude bars. I was a bikini dancer, so I wore a bikini. And the lowest I would go down to would be pasties. And we all know what pasties are, right? You're still covered up, and then the tea bags would be like this round, so there's not G-string. So you're still covered up. But you're supposed to be covered up. You're still covered up, except now you're in a bikini. So that is the type of clubs and bars that I would dance in. It would be more like a go-go thing, right? So with that being said, I'm on the stage, lights on me. Everyone out there is like kind of in the dark, but we can still see because your eyes are adjusted, right? And this does connect to those girls I've been talking about, and I didn't write this down, it's just all up in my memory. But before I start this off, I will tell you that yes, I did contact the authorities, and they did check into it. The place that I was at the time that I went and contacted and said, hey, this person was in here at this time. This is what happened. When the police came in to question and asked if there was any cameras or anything they could look at, the owner says, we don't have cameras here. We don't know who he is. And no, he wasn't here that day, right? Okay, so let's start. There is a girl named Susan Powell. And I'm sure there's a few or none or some or a lot of you that know that name very well. She's a girl that came up missing in 2000, around 2009. I think it was 2009. And her husband, Josh Powell, was being investigated for it, okay? Now, before any of this was on the news or anything whatsoever was a part of that, at this club that I worked at, and we called it the Stinky Douche because it smelled like sulfur. They had plumbing problems, and it was just you wanted to get into your shift and just spray a lot of stuff or light matches or something just to get the smell away. Just so that you could like survive while you were in there and then get out. So we called it the Stinky Douche. Josh Powell came in there quite frequently. And this was before, right? And I worked there for, I think, a couple of years. And he was always sitting at the bar. So if you were to come in, so I'm on stage. This is how I see it. I'm on stage. There's a door that's like here, and then it would be coming towards me, right? So there's a door where people enter here. Then he would walk forward, right, towards the stage area, And then there was a bar that was right here. And then there was a bar, it went around this way. So it was like an L shape, right? Or a 7 shape if you were coming in from the door. And then right here would be the stage. So here's me. Here's where he sat all the time, facing this way. The bartender, and we'll call her April, she was Joss's best friend, okay? And when she would work, he would be there. And when they would talk like, here's their heads, leaned in like this, okay? He always sat at this location. There was never a time that he didn't until, and I'll get to that. So he never seemed to tip, but he would always be in there talking with her. And his eyes always looked like dark underneath the circles. And to me, he looked like he was a heroin addict or something like that, you know, or he had like iron deficiency. I didn't really care, but I cared because he would watch and he wouldn't tip, right? And he would just come in and he would just get drinks from the girl, April, that was there, the bartender, who was also a dancer, you know, but she was bartending. But they were just, and I said, what's with that dude? I said to one of the girls, I can't remember who it was I was talking to, and I says, what's with that guy? He just comes in here all the time. He's always talking to her, but he never tips, but he watches. You know, isn't that like, we need to like talk to him and be like, this is not a free show. And I was told that is his best friend, her, and he only comes in to see her, right? And then he leaves or whatever. And I says, okay, it is what it is, whatever. And this went on for the entire time I worked there, until there was a few times leading up to the event that took place that just hit the news everywhere. I don't know if the person that I talked to about that maybe mentioned something or they overheard it or something like that. But Josh started to come up and sit at my stage when I was up there, and he started to tip me. So he started to tip me, and I says, okay, this is weird. You know, I notice things when certain things have changed or there's a shift. I notice things like that. And so I try to just put everything together as we all should. So he started tipping me, but when he watched me, when he tipped me, it was like a blank stare, and it would be like kind of creepy. You know, he was just kind of a creepy person, just creepy. And then he would go back and sit there and chat with April, whatever. Well, that April bartender chick, she started to get attitudes with me. And I think it was because he started to tip me and she wasn't getting all of his money or attention or whatever. And I thought, well, maybe they were boyfriend and girlfriend, right? So I was like, hey, he's in here. This is where I work. And she knows it because she's also a dancer. She knows how things work around here. So if she's going to get upset about it, then she can take it up with him, take it up with the owner, whatever. But I'm there to do my job. So a few months go by, you know, things just seem to be regular, whatever. A few months go by, and he always still, again, sat in that same spot. A few months go by, and Josh shows up in an afternoon. It was like an afternoon. He shows up, and he walks in. I was on stage, and I was like, oh, okay, he's just here to tip me, whatever. So he walks in from the back, comes towards the stage, except he doesn't sit here. He walks over here, and he sits here. And he's looking up at the TV like he's seen a ghost, right? And he just kept looking at the TV, looking at the TV. And I thought, okay, this is odd. This isn't Josh. He always sits right here. Why is he sitting here? And so when my set was done, he didn't tip or anything like that. Or maybe he did. I can't remember that part. He may have tipped me or whatever. I can't remember. But I found it a little strange. So my busy little mind, I'm going to go up and I'm going to be like, I'm going to see why this is different. And so I get off the stage and I'm done. I walk up to the counter by where he's sitting, and he's sitting right where the waitresses will like get their drinks from their little station that they go to get their drinks, and then take it out to the patrons, right? So I'm standing there, I'm waiting to get my drink or whatever, and I looked at him and I'm like, hi Josh, I'm like, how are you doing today? And then he just was like this, and he was looking up at the TV, and he looked at me, and the only thing he said to me was, my wife left me. And I was like, oh, I was like, oh, like, what am I supposed to do? In my mind, I'm like, what am I supposed to do? And I was like, oh, well, that sucks, But he just kept looking at that TV like he was gonna, like there was just something missing, right? And I was like, all right. So then I go back to the room, and I get back to the dressing room and stuff, and I come back out, and he's gone. He's not there no more, right? And so I get back on for my set, but then again, I was probably back there for like 20 minutes or so, maybe 15, because they're 3-minute sets, so the songs are like usually 3 minutes long. So it's like another dancer goes on, and then they get off, and if there's 2 dancers there, then she would have got on, done 2 sets, so 6 minutes, or if she did a 3-song set, it would have been like 9 minutes. So that's how long I would have been back there, and then come back. I don't remember how many girls were there that day, but with it being an afternoon, there was usually only like 2 until it started to get busy throughout the day, depending what time of the day it was, or what day of the week it was, you see. So I get out there, and he's no longer there. I can't see him no more. So I was like, that was weird. And so I was like, well, I just went about my day, whatever. So it wasn't until I think later that night, or the next morning, or maybe even the next evening, I see on the TV that this woman is missing. They suspect foul play. They're investigating her husband. And it's him they're investigating. If you have any tips whatsoever, blah, 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 contact, da-da-da-da, blah, blah, blah. So this is what I did. I took it upon myself to contact that tip line, the number that they gave, thinking that I was going to help Josh possibly find his wife, or be like, no, he was actually here at this time. He was here, so like, in other words, I thought I was like helping him. You know what I mean? Like, oh no, I seen him at the bar. So if it translates into this timeline, then he was here at this time, right? Then it gets interesting. So the police then do their job, and they go there and they ask questions at the bar, right? And I didn't tell anybody I called it, because everybody likes to call everybody a snitch or whatever, because they're childish, very childish, immature bunch of individuals. Because first off, a snitch means that if you're involved with something that's illegal, and you're involved, right? And everyone gets busted, and you're like, oh no, I don't want to get busted, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell on everybody so that I can get a shorter sentence, or that I can get off, right? That's what a snitch is when you're a part of it and you decide that you're going to tell on everybody so that you don't get into trouble. That's a snitch. Me, or any other individual that sees something happening and they want to help correct it, or maybe, just say, hey, yeah, I saw this. That just makes you a citizen that's making a difference in some sort of way, right? So that's what that is. Or unless you're purposely there sniffing around because you know that your intention is to try to get somebody in trouble, blah blah blah. There's different concepts of that, but that wasn't my situation. So anyways, so then the police come in, apparently, because when I got back to work, I think it was that following weekend, that April girl, the owner of the bar, I think there was like 3 or 4 people, kind of looked at me when I walked in, and they were just quiet. And April, she was like, she's a big bone girl, right? She's got big face, big nose, big head, big face, big nose, big hands, big bones, big white hips, tall, you know what I mean? But she's standing there like this, with her arms folded, standing there looking at me. And I was like, okay, and whatever. It's just dramas in there anyway. See, most everything that you do when you work in those establishments is you see it, and then you're like, okay, keep it in the back of your head, you know, but be like, whatever, just blow it off, because they might just be in a pissy mood, so they want to ruin your day because they're in a pissy mood, right? So I was like, oh, I didn't think that was the issue. So I can't remember who asked me about it, but somebody asked me something. Did you hear about Josh or something like that? And I was like, who? You know? And they're like, oh, nothing. And then that April girl, I went up to get a drink, because I usually go up and get like my waters or whatever, so that when I'm getting ready in the dressing room to go up on stage, I have like a water, you know, for not only do you have water back there so you can get your hands wet and kind of, you know, whatever, it's hot, or, you know, something to drink, just get everything prepared so that you're prepared. So I go up there, and she said, just so you know, we know it was you. And I was like, okay, because I still didn't know what was going on, right? And I got in the back, and I started putting 2 and 2 together. I'm like, why would they ask me about that? And that, and another is, why would they be upset about it, right? So it would be her. So with that part of it, this is where I get a little confused. Is either I called back the station to talk to the police or something, or whoever it was, the tip line, to find out if they went in and they checked it or anything like that. And what I was told is that when we went in and we questioned them, they said, the owner said that they don't have cameras in there because it's the type of club that it is. The cameras weren't on or working, so it was one or the other of that, right? And what was it? And they denied that he was there that day, and they denied that they really don't even know who he is, that they've never really even seen him there. So the April girl, she just mad dogged me so much since then. And Josh never came back to the club after that. He never did. So I started putting a lot of things together, and I was like, why would he be looking at the TV like that, for one? Why would he be in there the afternoon after his wife supposedly left him the night before, right? And why would he look like he's seeing a ghost, sit in the opposite place that he's never sat before, and then leave? You know what I'm saying? And then he's not there and never comes back. And so I started thinking about it, and I was like, alibi. Dude wanted an alibi. That's what he wanted, was an alibi. And I was like, well, how would he have an alibi if she left last night that he shows up at the club? So I started putting it together thinking, well, maybe it's an alibi. But again, I didn't know him that well to know if he would have been guilty or not. And then the whole story started to come out and everything, and someone had came up to me and said that they think it was you that told the police that Josh was in here that day, because you were the only one working at the time. And I said, no, I wasn't the only one working at the time, and I definitely wasn't the only one that was here. There was customers here, you know what I'm saying? And there was obviously a bartender. Hello, the manager was there, the owner was there. How did I get in? The door was open. So no, I wasn't the only one here. I'm not going to play into their drama, because now I'm being looked at like I did something wrong. And it's none of their goddamn business. You know what I'm saying? So they just basically said in front of some other people and then me there that basically it's bad for business that the police were even called, right? That's crazy. That the tip line was even called and that their names even. So they cared more about their club, their shitty ass club, than they cared about a person's life, right? Which was just terrible. So everything just kind of like flew by and everything was fine. And then all of a sudden, I started losing shifts. I wasn't getting as many shifts. So they were cutting my shifts down. And so I wasn't being able to work as much. And if I did get shifts, I was getting the shifts that were not good shifts. So what they were doing was pushing me out of the bar in order to be an employee there. So they started messing with my money. They started messing with my reputation. All because I was trying to help one of their customers or help the girl that was missing, right? Blah, blah, blah. But why did they care so much? Well, before I ended up not working there anymore at all, and me just not working there at all, and when I did eventually not work there anymore, it's because I moved away to a different part of, like, way far away, so I wasn't even close to even work at any of the clubs around there. But before that happened, I do have friends that did work there, including the bouncers liked me, you know. They didn't understand why girls had to be so much drama and be, you know, like, malevolent, is that the word? Vindictive against girls, you know. So, let me see. So then the owner of the bar, this stinky douche, I'm putting songs in the jukebox before I go up on stage, right? He comes up behind me, puts his mouth right up to my ear, and he whispers to me, "Why don't you fight back?" That's what he said, "Why don't you fight back?" And I'm like, oh, automatically I'm like, oh, so he knows shit's going and he's not taking care of it. It's his bar. And I turned around and I looked at him and I said, because I'm not here for drama. I'm here to do my job. I turned around and I got up on stage and I did my work and then I walked off, and he just looked at me like, holy shit, I can't believe she said that to me. Whoa. You know, like, I'm a god, so I can't believe she said that to me. You know, really pathetic. He was kind of one of those dudes anyway. He was one of those bar owners, and they all are, that drink their supply, you know. They sample their own supply. They're always in debt. All their records are always messed up, and their taxes and all that stuff, because things aren't balancing out, because him and his girlfriend that's running the bar I thought they were married. They were drinking their their product, basically. They were always trash. They were always fighting when they were in there. It was crazy. And I used to work with her when she was a dancer before she actually helped purchase this bar with this individual. So, there. But one of the bouncers came up to me, and this is getting back to the Josh, right? So one of the bouncers came up to me and said, don't tell anybody, got these little gnats, don't tell anybody that I told you this, but it's Kim. And I was like, what do you mean it's Kim? What? And so the other owner's name was Kim. And I was like, why? Because Rydell's talking to me? And I go, isn't that what he's supposed to be? That's what I automatically thought. Isn't that what he's supposed to be doing? I mean, he's like our boss. He's like, we need to communicate. And he's like, not that Kim, there's another Kim. He's like, she's got red hair. Red-headed Kim. Right then I knew who it was. I was like, okay. But I didn't know what he meant by it was Kim. So I was like, okay, I won't say anything. I won't say it was you that told me or anything. I'm not going to say anything at all. I'm going to be like, it's Kim, but I'm not going to tell you. You told me. I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to do what I always do. Just keep it to myself and just whatever. Because these girls were just like, they wanted you to be scared of them. I guess it made them feel cool. I think they were trying to be a part of a club that they weren't a part of fully, or maybe they were, and that was their duty. They were like bitches, like she was a bitch, like the dog that went around and to the females, you know, and then the dogs or the homies, you know, except they weren't of that culture. They were of the so, you know, like the grease, yeah. So I was like, it didn't bother me because it doesn't bother me, but I knew what he was talking about. But that wasn't the only person that was like bringing up, do you know Kim? She says that she knows you. You know Kim? Well, she says that she knows you. Like, I know Kim, and no, she doesn't know me. She wishes she did. She's just one of those girls that like talk snot. So anyway, so now she's after me. So I'm like, well, why is she after me? In my head, I'm like, so why would she be connected? Why would she care that Josh was told on? Well, let me tell you why. Is because that April girl, which is his best friend, Josh's best friend, Josh Pal's best friend. Remember, they were always like this. Was part of that crowd. She was friends with Melanie, Samantha, Kimberly, Dawn, and the baby mama, you know, the one I told you about. And then, what was the other one? Candace Ice. Pushed Ice. So, what would it be? I wonder what it is. The girls that like to hurt girls, that have connections to people that hurt girls and have connections to, you know, the stuff that makes you, oh my. Yeah. So if Josh got anything from anybody, right, to give to his girl in order to make her disappear or whatever, it would have been from that April girl. And she would have got it through her connection, which would have been Kim. And Kim would have got it through her connection, which would have been the guy that owns the other bars. The one I was telling you about. Oh, look, that's a jaybird on TV. Can you see the jaybird? Yeah, so anyways, that guy. The one that brings in the music, the industry there. That doesn't care about his health or his weight. That one. That same exact people that I was telling you about in my other videos. It's all linked. So yeah, that's where it all comes from. And so that's where it would have came from. Because that's where it comes from, if you know what I'm saying. So anyway, It was a very sad situation, and I just kind of like just forgot about all of it and just went about my life and was working and doing what I was supposed to be doing and whatnot. And I ended up moving to St. George after some other things went down, but that's another story for another day because I can't get it all onto this one. It just wouldn't make sense. But anyway, so yeah, so Josh Powell was a regular at this place that we called the Stinky Douche. Deuce is Wild in Salt Lake City, Utah. I was the dancer that was working the day that he came in and sat at a different seat at the bar and was looking at the TV like as if he was seeing a ghost or else seeing something that he didn't want to see. Something was terrifying him, in other words. And then him telling me that his wife left him the night before, and then all of a sudden he's gone. It's because he did something he wasn't supposed to do. Well, there's another part of this. Okay, so I've been connecting stuff for a long time, and I did give all this information over to Utah Salt Lake City, those people, the department, because in my culture, and you shouldn't hurt anybody anyways, we don't hurt women, you don't rape women, you don't kill women, you don't do anything like that, you don't hurt them, we don't do that. Children, you don't touch them, you don't hurt them, you know, nothing to children. Elderly, you don't do nothing to the elderly, you don't do it, you just don't do it. It's against the rules, all of it. Handicapped people, you don't do it, you don't hurt nobody, you just don't do it. It's against the rules, you just don't do it. Men, that they're inherders or all that, when they're all posseed up together like berserkers and stuff like that, yeah, I mean, go and handle it like a man with a man. But just because it's a male and it's like a 20-year-old or something like that, and you're like a 40-year-old or you're a 20-year-old and it's just a man, that doesn't mean you can just go hurt it because it's a man. It's like there's rules, okay? So this was a woman, a female with children, who was a mother to children that was missing, possibly foul play, guaranteed. I'm gonna make a phone call because this is what, hey man, we help each other out, we're supposed to. I don't have to justify it, I just did. But yeah, so I knew that part. And so there was this other person that Josh talked to probably about 3 weeks to a month before this happened with his wife. And his name is Scott. And we would call him Smelly Scott because he smelled like old man Dio. And he wore a cowboy hat. And he would tip $2. He would only tip $2. So we called him the $2 tipper Scott, or Smelly Scott. That's what we would get. Well, when Josh was there one day, this was about a month before any of this happened, okay? Any of this happened to his wife. I seen him talking to this Scott guy. And Scott sat in the same place that Josh sat in when he came in that day, when he sat in the opposite spot, right? Because Scott would always sit at the bar that was right here. Like, I would be here on the stage, and then the bar would be here. The bartenders would be behind the bar, right? They would be, and then Josh would always sit over here because it was like a 7 shape or an L shape. An L shape from the stage looking, and a 7 coming in through the back door, right? He was talking to that Scott guy who lives in Indianola, Utah. And how I know this is because I was married to my ex-husband, and his father was a land developer in Indianola, Utah, and I helped advertise, sell land for them. And that Smelly Scott was always at the ranch office, which was the office where people would come and and make appointments to take a tour to see the land that was for sale, that was advertised in the papers or on KSL. And KSL is where I advertised. And no, I never got paid for it. They took advantage of me, my ex-husband's family. I helped make them millions, and they didn't pay me, except for one time, $360, I think, in a check that was paid to me by a person that they said, we're going to pay you this because this was your lead, and he bought a lot of land. Ooh, so I get paid 300 and something dollars. But when his father, my ex-husband's father, when my ex-husband's father paid me for that land, he gave me the check in front of my ex-husband because he knew that my husband was going to take that check from me and they were going to get the money back. It's the only reason why. And the reason why he paid it to me in front of the people that purchased that land is because the person that purchased that land that I advertised for was the person that owns all the clubs, that brings in the music in the music industry. Look, another Jay Bird. He owns a crappy bar. He's the mule. Anyways, I don't think anyone had this all put together yet. I eventually put it all together. So Jaybird came out there and purchased some land in Indianola from an ad that I put on Book of Faces, because I was just jam-packing the ads. I was really good at it. I did it on KSL and I just jam-packed them, and I was selling left and right. I wasn't selling, I was advertising them. So anyways, it all runs up to that. So anyways, back to Scott, Stinky Scott, Smelly Scott, with the cowboy hat and the BO and $2. So Josh was talking to him and his son Brandon, which resembles Josh, except blonde. But they resembled each other, Josh and that Scott guy's. Yeah. So the reason why I started to put those and all this together is because my ex-husband was a very jealous person. He'd cheat on me all the time. He'd just do shady stuff to everybody. He stole from me. He robbed people. He just did a lot of stuff. And he would get away with it because he would go to Indianola and hide. He lived in Sandy with his mom. He'd do all this stuff, and then he would go to Indianola and hide. It was like an hour, 2 hours away from the city. And he would hide up there. And his family would get him out of trouble anyways, right? So it just is what it is. But he got upset with me one time. And he said, as soon as Jay and Scott get a hold of you and all your boyfriends, your bodies will never be found. He told me that. He would always say that to me. I'm like, what are you talking about? What boyfriends? And he's like, all your boyfriends, your bodies are never going to be found once Jay and Scott get a hold of you. And I thought it was that Scott with the cowboy hat. And it could be. But I know who the J is, right? I didn't start putting things together because he was like telling me this. And then he'd have good days. My ex would have good days, and he'd be like, you know that person that you ended up selling that bought all that property that you got paid for and stuff? They're not good people. They're really bad people. How do you know them? And I go, I don't know them. I just put an ad up. They just wanted to come out here and until I didn't know who they were, but it was on my FB page, and they came out and paid. I'm like, why? And it's like, they're not good people, like, at all. And I was like, okay. And so then after I figured out who they were, and this was like 20 years later, that I started figuring it out in like 2019, 2020. I started figuring it out. And this all happened back in 2009. You see what I'm saying? So I started putting it all together because it's just all this, that Kim is associated with it. I mean, to the point that she's got a profile photo on her Facebook page that is standing there with Jay's daughter. So her and Jay's daughter in a posing. You know what I'm saying? That's how close they are. So anyways, I put it all together and I just looked it up and I was like, whatever. But I believe in karma, you know. So anyways, there's another Scott. So there's a Scott that comes up there and he looks a lot like my ex-husband's father. And very similar. They talk the same and everything, just like, you know, like millionaires, land developing millionaires. But he has money. He lives in West Jordan. And I started doing this radio show. It was like, not even co-host. Let me plug my phone in. So, I was, shit. Okay, so I started working at, not working, but hanging out at this radio station. It was like a radio show. And I was like a co-host guest, right? And it was all filmed. There was a lot of filming and stuff, so it could be easily pulled up. But there was a Scott that was coming there, right, to the show. And then after a little bit, that Jay's sister, that bar owner guy. I'm not saying their last name, so I'm cool. And I'm not saying the name of their club, so I'm cool. And I'm not saying the name of the radio station or anything like that either, so I'm cool. So it's not slander. I'm not even saying allegedly because this all really happened. So, so she started coming there, and then I started to put the two of them I started putting them together, right? Well, I guess it would make sense if I plugged the charger in and then plugged it in my phone and not just in the wall. Oh my gosh, I'm like, why is it still red? So anyways, they were connected to the radio station that I was at. And I was like, okay, this is really getting interesting because they're really connected to a lot of people, the same people that I seem to be connected with. So it's just like really weird. And coincidence? No. What it is, and I put it together. When I had my death experience in 1999 and I came back, I was different. I felt like I was upgraded. My death experience in 1999 and I came back, I was different. I felt like I was upgraded. You know, I felt like before, when I had came back, right, that night after passing out, they did smelling salt and all that stuff on me and stuff. I just felt like I felt stronger, I felt healthier, I felt like whatever I ever took, like even if it was alcohol or any kind of a narcotic or any type of an illness that I ever had, it was just gone. I felt like I was free. And then I just always felt like I shouldn't be in these clubs. I shouldn't be, but I'm supposed to be. And I always look up at the sky, so I don't know if I came back as skits or not, which I didn't. Never, you know, I didn't. And there's like always this light in the sky, and I'm like, that's my spaceship, you know, that's my ship. That's where the other part of me is, you know, like the mothership. That's the mothership. That's how I play it off, just so that I don't go crazy. So I'm like, why is it like this in my life? And I'm like, I think I'm like an investigator for the gods, you know. I started like investigating the gods and stuff like that, and I got, oh, it's just the gods that I've always known about, and that would be the Norse gods, right? Norse gods, right? So I'm like, oh, well, maybe I'm Freya, I'm Valfreya. So I'll just go by Valfreya. Everyone else is identifying as, right? So there's a reason for stuff. And why am I surviving all this? People just keep trying to off me, and they just can't. Like, why? Not that I want to be offed, but I'm just saying, why? But anyway, so this Scott guy, he was getting like attached, like close, was like getting close, like wanted to get close to me or whatever, and not like any perverted way, like whatsoever. I think he just had an ego that needed to be stroked, you know. Like most of them, they're in Utah, like the men, they just really have egos that they liked stroked, you know. Stroke my ego, stroke my ego. And so I got really good at knowing how to stroke people's egos, I guess. And no, I was just me. I'm just authentic me. I'm just cool. I don't fake it or nothing. I'm just me, whatever. So, anyways, we were like doing, so we got offered to like, he needed a cleaning lady for his house. And I was like, well, me and my daughter-in-law, we used to clean houses, and she used to clean houses. I used to have a business cleaning houses, and, you know, we can come clean your house if you want. We don't even charge you a lot. Just, you know, whatever we do right up there. He's like, okay. And so we went over there, and we cleaned his house and all that stuff and whatever. And when it came time to pay us, he was very standoffish, like he didn't want to do it. And I'm like sitting here going, well, I've also been a part of collections too. You're gonna pay. I was thinking in my head. Well, anyways, I was like, okay, well then just wait. And he's like, well, I have to go to the ATM. And I'm like, we can wait here. It's fine. We can wait in our cars. Or we can wait here. It's fine. We don't really have anywhere to go. I have to go to the ATM. And I'm like, we can wait here. It's fine. We can wait in our cars. Or we can wait here. It's fine. We don't really have anywhere to go. So he comes. Matt's charging. So when he came back, he gave us the money. He paid her, but he just kind of like stared at her. When he came over to me, he paid me, and he just stared at me like he was mad dogging me, like he was killing me with his eyes, right? Like he was hoping that he was gonna get away with us just cleaning and him not paying or something. And you know what he said to me? And this is all going to tie into it too. He said, I thought you were Amy. Okay, Amy. And I know who Amy is, right? But why was he saying that? Like he thought that maybe, does she like come clean his house for him or something? Or like, what? That's weird, right? So let me tell you who Amy is. Amy is my ex-husband's brother's wife. Yeah. And she's got the blonde hair, and she's tiny, petite, and cute, but not as cute as me. Fake like personality. She's one of those pretentious people, and I'm gonna say that, and I've said it before, and I don't care if she sees this and hears me say that, but she's very pretentious. But here's the thing with that, is she was like 17 years old, and my ex-husband's brother was like 24 or something like that, and they were like hooked up and they got married and all that stuff. Just one of those situations. So she got swooped up at a very young age. But she had already had 2 kids at that age, you know, and I'm not judging because I had kids young too. I'm not judging her at all. It was how she came into the circle that was a little off. But before I get to that, let me tell you something that connects with the whole Amy and the Scott and the land developing and this girl, Susan Powell, missing, and then just the whole thing that. So my ex-husband told me that Scott, I'm now knowing it's this Scott that I'm talking with the radio show, and because the other Scott doesn't have money like this. He paid Amy $10,000 allegedly, because this is just hearsay because of what my ex-husband said. paid her $10,000 to never tell anybody about a piece of property in their acreage that they have, and to never sell it. Okay? And he paid her $10,000 to keep her mouth shut about that property and to never sell it. And that's what my ex-husband told me while I was with him. And I was like, okay, well, that sounds pretty shady. Maybe I was thinking back then, until I put it all together in like the 2020s, right? Because this was all back in 2011 and 2012 and stuff, because I haven't talked to my ex-husband since 2012. Yeah, January 9th of 2013, and that was my oldest son's celebration of life funeral, because he threw a huge temper tantrum and stuff and made a big scene, because that day wasn't about him, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's another story that could possibly be connected to the same people as well, of what happened with my son and why he's no longer with us. So yeah, anyways, those people, there's something going on with them that's not good, and they've been getting away with it for a very long time. They have connections with the sheriff's department out there. That Jay's sister worked at the time. I don't know if she still works there, but she worked at the sheriff's department. And yeah, but like I said, I'm not giving any last names. I'm not giving any names of the clubs, because the Deuce is Wild, that's no longer owned by the same people. So it's not like, and it's not slander, because that actually happened. Like, if it went to court, I'd be able to pull it up and say, hey, what happened when you went in and you investigated about Josh Powell being in the bar that day? What did they tell you? We don't have any footage. Our cameras weren't working that day. We don't have cameras. Or was it that he wasn't there at all, or you didn't even know him? That's crap. So, another thing that the Scott guy cuts out there in that Indianola area, and I'm not giving his last name either, is he has a junkyard full of cars. And it's been there for years and years and years and years and years. Now, if you listen to the story of the children, her children and Josh's children, that said where their mother was, they said in the trunk of the car, in the trunk. Think about it. Maybe not in his trunk of the car. Maybe he took her out there and put her in the trunk of one of those cars that are out there. But it's all private property. Not the cops can't, the sheriff's cop, the FBI might be able to get in there. But hey man, I'm just putting all this together. And then I do know an agent who's very, 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 very high up, and I'm not gonna say his name either. I'm not even gonna fake say his name. And he knows who he is if he sees this. And we're not friends because I do business with them, or I work undercover, or anything like that. It has nothing to do with that. When the situation happened with my son getting outside the club that he was working at, keyword clubs, and remember who he worked for at one point in time. So, and then hang on, that just kind of threw me for a loop. Oh gosh, that just kind of threw me for a loop, because I just went back to that situation. Sorry, it still gets to me, that whole situation. Oh, but anyways, A cousin of mine, a long distance cousin, she says, I have a friend that I want to introduce you to, and he might be able to help you figure this stuff out. And I didn't know what she was talking about, but she wanted to introduce me to him, right? When I met him, I realized I had already met him through a modeling photographer friends of mine. We did modeling for Ring Girls and for the fights in Utah and stuff. We had our own Ring Girls and we had our own fighters that we were taking pictures of, and even some of my rock star friends in Salt Lake City got to be part of their agency and get some really nice photos of themselves. And a friend of mine who wanted to do a photo shoot with me in the exact same pose that he ended up doing with his wife, which I'm very happy for you. Congratulations on that. I'm glad you finally got to take that shoot, and I'm glad I was able to introduce you to the photographers that finally got you to be able to have that pose, and you're welcome. But I met this individual through them, right? And I had already talked to him before. So when I was introduced to him through my distant cousin, which I owe her an apology, because I thought that the girl that was going around doing malicious things, saying that she was part of the family when she really wasn't, I thought it was her, and I was like, it's her, but it's not her. And I ended up finding out who it really was, and it was Melanie, the one that went by Samantha, because she goes around telling everybody that she is like an aunt to one of my sons, because her and my son's father had relations before me and him got together. So in her mind, her crazy little mind, she thinks that she's related. She's his aunt. That's weird, huh? So anyways, I found out that it was Melanie. It's Melanie that's going around, the malicious girl that's going around lying and spreading words, claiming that she's part of the family. It's Melanie, Samantha. It's not the other girl. But anyways, this girl, long distance cousin, she introduced me to him. He came and he picked me up in a limo. He took me out to the clubs and whatnot, just to make sure I was safe, and then to talk to me about a few things. But at that point in time, I was just really numb in my head. I didn't know what was going on. Everything was just so dizzy, and I just felt like what is going on? This just doesn't make any sense. And so he let me go to his place a couple of times. You know, he trusted me to know where he lives and whatnot. And he invited my kids over for spaghetti. He made spaghetti. It was just like, what would you call? I call him Iron Man, and he knows that I call him Iron Man, and I have a respect for him. But I did contact him in 2020 or 2021, and I said, hey, I got something I need to tell you. Like, it just came to me. Everything just came to me. Everything just came, I need to tell you something. And I was telling him this, and he says, at this point, with Josh Powell being gone, with the father being gone, of Josh Powell's being gone, because he was also another suspect in it. Those were the suspects that were in it. The only thing that we would be able to do in order to close this case up, to get closure, would be to just find her body. And, and I think it's important that she needs to be found, because that'll bring closure to her family, because she didn't deserve what she got. Josh was out hitting up the strip clubs. He had a porn addiction. He had a best female friend that he was always coming in and giving money to. And I told you who that was. So if you guys want to take the time and help me with this puzzle piece and put it together, it would be great, because I've tried and I've gotten nowhere with it, because I just feel like I can't get nowhere with those people in Salt Lake City. The only thing I'm thinking about is that her kids, when they said she's in the trunk, the car trunk or whatever, that maybe possibly he could have drove out there, or maybe that I don't know, I might be reaching, but it's just weird how he would be talking to them, then they resemble, or maybe it was like, I don't know, something. But anyways, there's all that. So that's my story with that. And I really needed to get this off my chest because it's one of those things that I continuously dream about. Because, you know, when you're like, you're trying to say something and you can't get it out in your dream, and you're just like, or you got bubble gum and you just keep pulling bubble gum out of your mouth, it's because there's something that you have to say, and you need to get it out. You got to get it off your chest. And it's not something you did or someone else did that you care about or anything. It's like you really care about helping solve something because you are also like a parent that lost a child, and you want a closure, right? So anyways, I have a lot more stories about that little circle of chaos, and I'm gonna tell them. I just am. And the reason why I'm so hyped up on this and I'm not making amends with it is because they have put so much slander on my name and my sister's name and every other girl and a lot of other people that it's probably up. Like, I'm even going to say this, it's probably even in the entertainment industry that goes up even further. Because that Melanie girl, she came into the Stinky Douche, that club that Josh was in. This was another time that before I had left that she had came in, right? And I think this was around 2010. And she came walking in. I haven't seen that girl for years, and I'm always just the person that's going to be like, hi, how you doing, whatever, you know, because I work there, la-di-da, it's like, you know, and then whatever, you know, show face. So she comes walking in, and she's with her husband. And she used to tell me, like, before I was seeing her, and I couldn't remember how long ago, she was like, my husband, he works as a producer on Sex in the City. I get all the gossip. You know, she's like that chick. She's like that kind of person. And she didn't come from that lifestyle at all. She's just kind of like, she's one of those, she's got to play it out and try to like act and try to impress so that people will be like, oh, that's Melanie. She's married to a producer. And she's like so important because she gets all the gossip. You know, it's like, what gossip? Like, I wouldn't even understand the gossip anyways because I'm not a part of it, right? Like, I don't care. So she would say stuff like that. And then I most recently went and unblocked her off one of my Facebook pages just to see how far behind they really are, or if anything else has came into power or play or anything like that. And I seen that she had a photo taken with the actors of Yellowstone, you know, but not with Kevin Costner. I have a photo with me in it with Kevin Costner, and I'm sitting in the back because I was on Yellowstone, and I think it was episode 4. I think it was 4 or 7. I can't remember. But anyway, so yeah, I was there too. But apparently, this Melanie chick was there as well. But all she has there is a photo, like a fan photo. You know what I mean? So she doesn't have a photo to where she's like it's her. I'll put the photo up that I'm in, but you can really just see the back of my head. I know that's funny, but anyways, I was there. I even have the check stub to prove it. And I did meet Kevin Costner, and he is a sweetheart, and he told me that, you know, tell all your friends that you had a kissing scene, and so they'll all watch. And I never got a kissing scene. Not that I wanted it, but still. But anyways, I seen this photo, and it's on her Facebook page, and they're all standing there. Like, Rip is one of them, and what was the other one? The son of, I can't remember his name, but anyway, she's standing there, and it's funny because, and I'm gonna laugh at it because I know the drama that I put up with it, and so I laugh at it. So she's got her hair, she's got like a wig on, right? There's a black wig, or extensions or whatever, and she's like standing there and like this, and you would think that she would like have her arms around him like this, or they had their arms around her, and she'd be posing like this, right? or something cute like that. She's like this. And me, I'm laughing at it because I'm like, ha ha ha, you'll go, whatever. But she's like this. I'm not even shitting you. So when they took the photo of her, even if she was posing, she moved at the wrong time because she's like this. You'd think that she'd be like this or something. She's not. She's like this. It's so funny. I was like, oh my God, that's your karma. So anyway, she came in the bar that day, and her hair was like short, and I was like, oh wow, she got some pretty cool boots on, you know. And I was in a good mood that day, and she came walking in. They were red. They were like snake skin or something, and they were red, and they came all the way up to here, and they had a heel on them like that, and I like that. And I was like, oh, well, those are some pretty cool boots. And she was like, I was here, she was here, and then her husband was over here, facing this way, facing towards where she was. And I was like, hey, haven't seen you in a while, you know? And she's like, yeah, it's been a while. And I was like, those are some pretty cool boots. And she's like, yeah. And then she starts to tear up. Seriously, she starts to tear up. And she's, not that she was tearing up because she was emotional. She was tearing up because she's drama. So she goes into her acting and she's like, yeah, thank you. And like this. And her husband looks over at her because I'm watching both of them. I'm watching everything around me, you know. And I'm like, oh, so was that the producer husband that she's married to or whatever? And so he sees her and she's standing by me. And of course, she's got to pull drama. So she starts getting her eyes all watery and tearing up. And she looks at him and she's like, hi, baby. And she like totally just like turned it into something that it absolutely was not. And she's like, yeah, my father died. He left me a bunch of money. And she just totally just made it look like I said something to her that was bad. You know, and all I said was, those are some really cool looking boots. And she had to do that. So her husband looks at me and he gives the look and he looks at her like, either he looked at us like, oh, here we go again with her drama, Melanie's drama, or, oh no, what did this girl say to upset my wife? You know what I'm saying? Like one of those things where just like, oh, here we go. So, but that day is when I found out that she was good friends with the owner of that bar. You know what I'm saying? The stinky douche. Yeah. So they were all on there like, oh, hi, how you doing? And she's playing it up and she's like queen waving and stuff. Like, I don't know what kind of cocaine she was on, but she was on something. And she was on a really big high. And he's over there chewing on a straw. Her husband chewing on a straw. So of course they're geeking on something. So yeah, so they're over there talking and I was like, okay. And then after that day is when all the stuff started to get really weird, you know, with the whole shifts and stuff like that, because these girls are just drama. So the girls would be Melanie, she went by Samantha. Candace, she went by Ice. Kim, she goes by Kimberly. I'm not shitting you. And then I don't know why I keep forgetting the third girl, Dawn. And Dawn is the mother of the child of the guy that brings in the music, and he doesn't pay him well to his slimy little bars that he has, because he's got to have something going on in order to show that that's where his money comes from and why he has so much of it. And you know what I'm saying? So I know the underneath of it all, but I'm not going to go there and point stuff out. I'm not that type of person. But because it has affected my life personally and my children's lives and my sisters and my brothers and all that stuff, and there's a lot more to it, and I'll be back for more to tell, but I just have to get this off my chest. So if you guys know who I'm talking about, then just know that you might want to be like, okay, remember that one time that this happened and we couldn't figure out why this was happening or what, or why I lost this job, or why I got evicted, or why this happened or this happened. And then you're like, you know what? These people that she's talking about seem to be around at that time that that was going down. And ever since I met them, things started to get weird in your life. Well, maybe I just helped you with the puzzle that you were putting together. But they're still doing stuff. But anyway. So, what I'm going to do, that was my story for today, and I'll have more for tomorrow. But I have these that I am going to go and put on my this is the set that just came in today, and I am going to go get this hooked up, and then I think I might play with it a little later. Yeah. So I don't even know how much it costs. I'm sorry. I just get samples from the TikTok shop from brands they want to collab. And like I said, if you want to learn how to get in to be a TikTok shop associate and start getting samples for yourself and your own showcase, get 5,000 people to follow you, 5,000 of them, and just do it. Just do it. Get 5,000, and then you'll be able to become an affiliate. Make sure you fill out for, because TikTok will notify you and say, hey, you qualify for the affiliate program. If you're interested, fill this out, and then fill it out. Man, don't even wait. If you want to know the secrets on how to get 5,000 people following you on the TikTok, you can also inbox me and I'll let you know how to do that too. Okay? I can hook you up with some of my friends, my TikTok friends, and they're not going to charge you. They're not going to sell you a book. They're not going to have you go to another website or anything like that. And watch out for those ones. If they're saying, hey, I can teach you how to do this and get 10,000 followers or 5,000 followers or even 1,000 followers, but go to this link, don't go to it. Just don't. It's all here on TikTok, and it's right here, so just go ahead and send me a DM and I can help you with that. It took me a long time to figure out how to do it myself, but I learned, and it's hard. And man, I went on YouTube, I went on Google, I went everywhere trying to figure out how to do it. I was just like, how do I do this? Like, and then you go click on one of them, like, okay, well, this is going to be it, and they're going to tell me, and then you get there and you're like, well, that didn't help out. All I did was just watch their video. It's like, no, I can tell you, I can help you, and I can give you names to go to and direct you on exactly what you need to do if that's what you want to do. And you just hit me up in DM. Or just join me every time I'm on live, because pretty soon I'm going to be doing lives to where I'm going to say, all right, everybody in here, and you can do it now, everybody in here that's in here right now, everybody, follow everybody. Follow everybody, okay? Go in and follow this person right here. I don't know how to bring and pin people to the top yet. I don't know how to do that. So, so everybody in here follow this person. And then this person follow the people that follow you. And then just keep following them. And eventually I'm going to get my lives to be doing that, because I am a live host and I can do that kind of stuff, but I want to do it in a sense to where nobody gets into trouble, right? Like TikTok's like, oh, we don't like grow rooms. Well, I don't want to be a grow room either. So it's like, like, been watching this one girl. She's just so freaking awesome. And I got 10,000 followers. I'm not even kidding. By watching her lives. And it's just the way she does the live. And basically she says, everybody in the comments, everybody in this live, follow everybody in this live. But I don't really see anybody up here, right? So up here, it just shows how many people are in here. And it's weird because it says 0 here, but I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I see people in here, right? So eventually we're going to do that. But right now I am going to get off live and I am going to make videos out of this live. Thank you for joining. I'll see you tomorrow. Ciao.